Hello, I'm the official narrator. My job is to look through the first page of Google, review all the nicknames provided by the internet, and then give my recommendations at the end. Today we're looking at just Qwilfish and Qwilfish alone. So bloat is actually something that honestly was kind of one of the first things that came to mind for me and was recommended to me as well for this episode, and that's because that's the name of the blowfish in Finding Nemo. So I was never really too crazy about it because I was just like, oh, that feels too cliche, that feels too obvious. So as a result, I kind of stray away from it, but we'll acknowledge it because I have a feeling that that's probably not the case, because every single time I seem to think something is super cliche and avoid using it, I'm almost always wrong. Okay, Hootie, I probably should have seen coming a mile away, but I didn't, and that one makes sense. So I'm going to acknowledge it because the joke is there and incredibly obvious, and I feel dumb for not thinking of this sooner. And to alter bloat a little bit, you could put brother bloat if you want to do the shark bait hoo-ha-ha scene, which also I've considered shark bait as a nickname for Pokemon as well. I just haven't decided who in particular. I think maybe the best example might be like Wishy-Washy, but I don't know. If they ever make that clownfish Pokemon, we can go ahead and acknowledge the beta name for Qwilfish if you want. It's most of the time we see beta names in regards to just Gen 1, but thanks to the whole Space World ROM thing that's out there, we now have a whole bunch of information on Gold and Silver too. And I believe Qwilfish was supposed to have an evolution, but it looked like Mega Derpy, so I'm glad we didn't get it. But I am super sad that we didn't get the Anchor Shark Pokemon because that's just badass. I'm shocked no one came up with Mrs. Puff either. If you want to do that, fine, but I think that's like mega cringe and not interesting and is on the same level of naming your Krabby Eugene or Mr. Krabs, where it's like obnoxious and annoying and I don't like it. So if you want to, sure, but I think it's like trash tier. Okay, so I gotta we need to get a hit on this guy, it's insane. So Porky Puffer, I looked at and I was like, I'm positive I've seen that before. And that's because I have. It's from Super Mario. Now, what irritates me about this is that he's acting like he fucking thought it up himself. Fuck you, no you didn't. I combined it with porcupine and cactus and I'm such a fucking genius. No. No. You do not take credit for someone else's idea. Cactus fish I saw on the Pokemon.net. I didn't care for it. I didn't think it was interesting then. It's not interesting now either. Swellfish? No. Mrs. Puff we already saw. Puffers? No. Spikles and Spike are also no. The thing that irritates me the most is that, he could have said Porky Puffer, like Super Mario, and that would have been fine. But this jackass thinks he can just plagiarize something. Well, firstly, majority of the stuff he plagiarizes anyway, if there is a good idea, he doesn't fucking admit that he took it from someone else. He just steals it, and then anything he comes up with himself is always fucking garbage. Okay, so that's the bottom. Some of the suggestions we've seen have been pretty decent, and I actually do want to kind of go back to this one real quick, because I kind of want to just highlight these two. I don't mind Tetra, I'm not going to lie, I definitely wouldn't think of this, but if that is a thing that they are known for, that's fine. I'll admit I'm ignorant to pufferfish venom, I'll admit that. I personally thought of Tetra from Wind Waker, and then I'm like, well, maybe that's why they named her that, so I don't know. And then this I also don't quite get, but it's talking about eating pufferfish and Simpsons and all that. So again, that could just be more stuff I'm ignorant to and don't know anything about, but if that interests you in any way, then there's that stuff. But other words, that's it. We'll finish. Actually, hold on a sec. Before we check the spreadsheet, I do want to highlight this again. Here is another link. This is 3 episodes now. We found this link. If you want to get access to the spreadsheet, go through here. You can probably just type in the Big Book of Nicknames and it'll give you access like that. So there's another way to get access to the spreadsheet if you did not already previously know. Let's check it. Okay, so basically everything on here is just the name in different languages or something dumb, and then this one confuses the hell out of me. I understand it to a degree, Because it's like, oh, get it? It's blue, circular, and has spikes. Like, okay, I get that. But no, like, that's not relevant at all. So, I don't know, that's just weird to me, but whatever. But I do think that we've seen some ideas that I actually do like. So, I actually kind of prefer Brother Bloat more than just Bloat. I think it adds a little bit more to it and just makes it feel a little bit more fun. But you could go without it if you want to. I liked Hootie and the Blowfish, that was fine. I don't mind Porky Puffer. That's totally fine. I'm mad because the jackass plagiarized it and act like he thought of it himself. Fuck you, that name came out in Super Mario World, you probably weren't even born then. So don't try and take someone else's idea and claim it as your own. And then this one, I've thought up myself, and that was to name it Puff Toss after the pufferfish boss from Donkey Kong 64. Like, all of these nicknames, they're fine, but I don't particularly have one that I'm in love with. I think I kind of like Puff Toss most just because it's like that's where my brain went, and I'm like, okay, well, that's probably not super popular, and I could at least be original in that. But at the same time, it just doesn't feel like, point blank, the best name. Like, it's not the most interesting name out there, so I want something better, but it's the best thing I've seen so far, thought of so far, stumbled across. I'm sure there's other better ideas out there. I seriously believe that Qwilfish has potential for a really, really cool nickname. So, any ideas that you have, feel free to put them in the comments below. Give a thumbs up to any comments you think are good, and we can keep talking about Qwilfish. We at least found a fair bit, so there's something there. But we can always do more. There should never be a shortage of nicknames and ideas and cool stuff like that. Like, you can never have too many.